Charing Cross, relating to accident and emergency capacity in the borough. A significant number of questions relating to the alleged collapse of GP services, waiting times for appointments of up to 21 days. One emotive, understandably, my grandmother spent 6 hours on a trolley at Charing Cross. How will you stop disgraceful waiting times and poor care? And there's a number of claims and counterclaims about who's said what and who's championing what. But let me come, I'm going to come first to Andy and then to Richard.
Do you want me to deal with that rather than mental health?
Yeah, I think we'll move on. You can weave in mental health if you'd like to.
Well, I'll weave into this, but I'll very briefly on mental health. That I'm glad that all three parties now are talking about giving equal priorities to mental and physical health, not before time, although there was actually an 8% real terms cut in the last 5 years in mental health, but it certainly hasn't done at the moment. Almost as importantly is integration of services with acute care and with social care, because there are issues related to dementia. And the Charing Cross site is a very good example of where you have mental health as well as primary care as well as acute care on the same site. It's a beautiful site for hospital, perfect site for patient accessibility. So what is the current government intending to do? Demolish it and replace it with wholly inadequate facilities. This is the number one issue at the moment in this constituency, and I think the NHS is the number one issue in this election. And because there has been so much spin, and I'm afraid very misleading information put out, particularly by the previous council using your money, I don't quote my own words anymore on this. I quote what Imperial says. Imperial are the people who own and run Charing Cross Hospital. And this is what they say. That what will remain at Charing Cross Hospital in the future, if the Conservatives are re-elected, is planned care on an outpatient or daycare basis, elective daycare surgery alongside specialist assessment and treatment, outpatient or ambulatory and daycare services. The hospital site will also house primary care services, diagnostics and pharmacy, rehabilitation, education and well-being services. Urgent and emergency care services appropriate to a local hospital will also be provided. Right. What that means, and you can see that in the appendix to that document, the Imperial Political Strategy published last July, is complete demolition of all the Imperial buildings, particularly the main tower at Charing Cross, sale of 55% of the site privately, presumably for luxury flats, so that's what makes the most money, and on losing 75% of the current hospital site, leaving only GP services, an urgent care centre, 24 inpatient beds in place at the current 360, losing the best stroke unit in the country, losing intensive treatment, losing all emergency consultant services and emergency services. In other words, something that barely you could call a cottage hospital in place of one of the best, largest teaching acute emergency hospitals in the country. I think that is an absolute disgrace in the 21st century.
Yes.
Closure last September of the Hammersmith A&E, the only other A&E department, which has caused huge pressure, along with Central Middlesex closing, on the remaining A&E departments. The only thing that gives me any hope is that I don't actually believe that anybody in their right mind would think about demolishing and getting rid of a major hospital of that kind. Well, unfortunately, and I thought perhaps either the election results last year or the independent reports that have come out, one last week, saying that it's shaping a healthier future, or whatever Orwellian term they used for it, was a terrible plan for the whole of North West London. I thought that might make Mr Hunt and Mr Cameron see sense, but no, they are determined to go ahead with their plan. And if that happens, despite the fact that the population is going to grow by 10% over the next 10 years in this area, you will never get a hospital back of that quality again. If you demolish it, and if you sell the land, can we seriously expect that we could fulfil that need, that acute care, those beds, those emergency services again? That's why we have to ensure that Charing Cross is safe. We have to ensure And this is why I give all credit to Save Our Hospitals campaign that's been doing that for 3 years, and despite all this, has been educating the population here into what is happening. This is the number one issue for me in this election, and I believe that only a Labour government, Labour which protected the NHS, Labour which, when it came in 97, when we equally saw people dying on waiting lists and lying on trolleys, well, at least it took the Conservatives 18 years to run it down last time. They seem to have done a pretty good job in running it down in 5 years this time. We need those hospitals.